Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is By Any Means. There go to Cash App, $ Dean by any means. There go to PayPal at Dean by any means. Y'all already know what I'm about to say. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It's much, much, much appreciated. Shakur Stevenson, y'all, was dominant last night. I think that Shakur Stevenson won every single round of last night's fight, but he also left a lot of questions, and let's talk about it, y'all. Shakur Stevenson was dominant, and he still was frustrated. And let's talk about why. At the end of the day, y'all, I'm gonna start with the good that I saw. All of that Shakur Stevenson was running, did not run not one time yesterday. He stood right there in the pocket in the middle of the ring, and he fought um Arthurius Arthur. He fought him from tooth to nail. He exchanged, he threw his punches. Could he have thrown more? Yes, but I wasn't upset at the amount that he threw. I was happy with the performance. I'm not gonna lie. The part that I was happy, we'll get to the part that I wasn't happy with, but that was all of the things that I was impressed with. I was impressed with Shakur Stevenson's distance control. Like always, some of the best in boxing. You got to be a special fighter to beat Shakur Stevenson, and he proved that again. Shakur Stevenson jab was there. Shakur Stevenson just showed heart and a willingness to stay right there in the fire, and I did love that. I also love that Shakur Stevenson punching in between shots. Could he have done more of it? Yes, he probably could have, but it doesn't change the fact that I was impressed with what he did. Arthur still didn't connect on most of his shots. Shakur defense was A1. Actually, a lot of people today gonna say his defense was amazing. I actually thought it could have been a little better last night. I feel as though Arthur was touching him up a little bit. He was getting some stuff in there. I don't think the judges was giving him credit all the way for some of them punches that he was landing. Because to me, he was landing more punches than they was saying. So that's why it'd be hard for me to go with copy box sometimes. But at the end of the day, let's say they were saying that he landed 16%. I feel like he probably landed closer to like 18 or 19%. But it doesn't change the fact he wasn't landing that much against Shakur Stevenson at all. It doesn't it doesn't change that fact. Shakur Stevenson showed it was a clear level. My problem is Shakur Stevenson dominated, but he ain't step on him. He dominated, but he didn't step on him. Shakur Stevenson was frustrated in his corner. He was talking back to his grandfather. I didn't like that. I thought he was being very unprofessional. I didn't like that after the fight. Arthur tried to come up to Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson shunned him. Shakur Stevenson talked down on Arthur. Arthur did nothing but be polite, show class, show grace. Big up Shakur Stevenson. I'm very impressed with Arthur for that. Gotta salute that dude for that. I didn't like how Shakur was treating his grandfather Willie in the corner. I just think that he was showing him up in front of the world. You got to sit there and listen. Be quiet, man. Listen. That's why God gave you one mouth and two ears. He gave you put it like this. I agree with everything his grandfather said. His grandfather ain't say nothing that I didn't agree with. His grandfather was trying to tell him how to get this man out of here. My biggest concern from last night, y'all, was Shakur Stevenson wanted to knock out Arthur, and he couldn't. He didn't even drop him. That was my biggest concern. That let me know that he couldn't beat Tank. Shakur Stevenson wanted to drop Arthur and couldn't. He wanted to stop him, but couldn't. Said he was going to stop him, but didn't. Was clearly frustrated that he didn't stop him. Was clearly trying to stop him, and he couldn't do it. That was and Shakur threw the kitchen sink at him. Could he have threw some more knives and a little bit more butter knives? Yeah, maybe. But I think he threw enough to get him out of there. I don't think it was no excuse for Shakur to not get him out of there. Because when you comparing yourself to other fighters, I truly believe last night, y'all, that Vasil Lomachenko might have got him out of there last night. I know Gervonta Davis would have got him out of there. Gervonta Davis would have got him out of there in seven rounds. Gervonta Davis would have got Arthur out of there in 7 rounds. I'm going to say something even more controversial, and we're going to talk about him later. Abdullah Mason would have got Arthur out of there. I truly, and they asked Abdullah Mason, do he think he would have got Arthur out of there? And he said he think he would have got him out of there too. So don't say it's just me, y'all. He feel the same way. I think that and back to the thing I've been telling. Can y'all give me my credit, y'all? When all my Shakur fans, and y'all know I love y'all, because I'm a Shakur fan myself. Can y'all give me my credit? We're going to talk later, but everything I've been telling y'all about the Shakur situation with Top Rank and everything else, why he's not getting the big fights, Shakur has agreed with me on everything. He believes also he hasn't been promoted right. He believes also that if he would, that it was harder for him to get these fights because he didn't commit to Bob, and I was telling y'all that. He believes also that Bob don't got his best interest in black fighters and blase blah. Everything I've been telling y'all, he believed that too. He believes he should be further in his career than he is. I told y'all that the same way. Can y'all stop calling me a hater and call me a realist? Because that young man agreed with everything I said, and he didn't even know I said it. Yeah. I was concerned though, y'all. Like I said, Shakur was dominant in all four criterias of boxing. He won the fight. Period. Point blank. Simple. But even in dominance, it could be questions, and that's all I got. I wasn't more confident that he would beat Gervonta Davis last night. If anything, I was less confident, even though he was dominant. He said one thing after the fight, y'all, and Dean has been telling y'all this for a minute. He said, I got to get better at cutting off the ring. You know somebody, he better hurry up and get better at that before he gets into the ring with them? Gervonta Davis. Because Gervonta Davis is a master at doing it. You at the level where, and this is what I be telling y'all, ring generalship. He is not better than Gervonta Davis in the four criterias of boxing. And I keep hearing y'all saying he's better defensively than Gervonta Davis, but I need to know Gervonta Davis would have got Arthur out of there. What is a better defense than a slip, dip, hook, good night? Rolly Romero, Frank Martin, what is the better defense than that? Then against Leo Santa Cruz, what is a better defense than that? I see you throwing a punch, I dip, I slip, good night. Counter punching to a knockout is literally the best defense you can have, and Gervonta Davis is probably the best at it. So I'm not sure that I don't think he got better defense. Do I think he got amazing defense? Yes. But his defense, the best defense is when it translates to offense. And as much as I love Shakur and what he does defensively and how he's always, Shakur Stevenson is always right there to let off a shot. He's never out of range. So when he is being defensive, he's still right there to give you a shot. That's amazing. The problem is Gervonta Davis does the same thing, but when he lets off one of those counters, it's good night. Some of them punches that Shakur was catching Arthur with, if that was Gervonta Davis, good night, Irene. And we all know it. Good, he wouldn't have survived that long. Them body shots, he wouldn't have survived that long. Shakur Stevenson said himself that he was frustrated. Don't get mad at me for saying it. Shakur Stevenson said himself he got to get better at cutting off the ring. We saw that. So do y'all understand now why I say I think it takes a special fighter to beat him, but I just think it's only one fighter that's that. I'm not even sure that I don't think Lomachenko beat Shakur Stevenson, but I'm more confident in Lomachenko than I was before, because Shakur was letting Arthur get off. The problem is if you let Lomachenko's going to be there with better footwork, and it was a lot of times, y'all, in the fight, Arthur was in range to throw, but he just didn't. It was like he was doing that hesitant stuff. Like he had to think about, did he want to throw? And I know Shakur Stevenson makes you think about that. But a more experienced fighter or a fighter that got more of a dog, a Lomachenko or Gervonta Davis, when they get that close, they're not going to be hesitant to throw. It was plenty of times where they was twisting and turning each other, and Arthur was there. Like you could tell Arthur was about to punch, but he just didn't do it. And it was there for the taking. And then when he started doing it, he was getting off a little bit. He had spurts. But then I didn't understand. I don't know if it was his fatigue, his energy, why he couldn't keep up that punch output. But if he would have let his hands go a little bit more, it could have been a more entertaining fight. The main thing I didn't like was that Shakur Stevenson was going for the knockout and couldn't get it done. That is concerning. because that means that we saw the best Shakur Stevenson in the ring last night. That means we saw the best Shakur Stevenson in the ring because he was trying. He said himself, I tried everything I could to beat him, to get him out of there, but he didn't. That's very concerning. The fact that he was arguing with his grandfather, I did not like that. It shows some mental, it just showed that he's not all the way focused on what he needs to be. It shows that he's not all the way comfortable in how he performs. You're not a knockout artist. Shakur, you're not the biggest puncher in the world. You got to accept that. He said from the sixth round, fifth round, he was going to knock him out. He was going to stop him, and he didn't do that. And he was trying. So that means we saw the best that Shakur has to offer. We saw that last night, and it wasn't enough to stop a guy like Arthur. Did he dominate more than Frank Martin? Yes, because Frank Martin won a close fight. Shakur won a dominant fight. So he separated himself from Frank Martin in that way. But he did not separate himself from Lomachenko, from Williams Zepeda, from gervontadavis. I believe that was Williams Zepeda in there last night because of just his sheer punch output. Because it was a time that he could have got Arthur out of there and he didn't. Everybody, we all saw it. I thought Arthur was hurt, but he didn't get him out of there. That's Williams Zepeda. Good night, Irene. I believe if that's Lomachenko, especially the one that fought George Kambosos, because I think George Kambosos is a better fighter than Arthur. He gets him out of there. We all know Gervontadavis gets Arthur out of there at 7 rounds. I think even Gervontadavis haters will agree with that. Even Devinhaney fans, because they don't like Shakur, they will agree with that. So, y'all, I just think it's a lot. Shakur left a lot to be desired. It's going to be more questions. It's going to be more heat. It's going to be more content. And it's going to be more controversy about what's going on in his boxing career. But y'all already know what this is, right? Dean, by any means. And I holla at y'all.